So, Lori, Miss Lori Vessel, I know you're here. Let's see if you can unmute yourself. I'm so glad you caught some of this. We missed you, love. There you go. You're unmuted.
Hi, I'm happy to be here as always and enjoying um, what I'm hearing from everybody. So I'm grateful to be here. So, did you want me to say something?
Anything coming up for you, love?
Well, I'm especially really grateful to be here tonight because the subject is so close to my experience of the last couple days, and which has been really intense. And it is, I think I do have some shame because I know it's related to story, and I kept catching myself like knowing with my awareness that this is story and knowing this is emotion and knowing if I act out and react the way I typically do, it's destructive and it's not healthy and it doesn't hurt anybody but me
Yeah.
and the person I'm targeting my
Yeah.
anger at. And at the same time, I chose to do it anyway instead of creating a new pattern. And that put me in touch with a certain amount of hopelessness that anything's ever going to change. And I don't have it in me to change. And I'm self destructive. And, a whole dialogue about why people commit suicide, and this is exactly where people are at when they decide to throw in the towel. You know what I mean? The whole the whole victim kind of thing. But I do get confused. That's why I like what you said a moment ago about, because I do think I do need to feel. I do think it's a slice of grace to always be going ever more deeper with a layer of awareness with what the feeling is or what the experience is that triggers. So for me, it's a fine line between like just talking about these things and making like years ago, I remember when the buzzword used to be choice, with anger management and this and that and the other, like choice. Well, Lori, no, there's always a split second where you're at choice. And I used to always say, it happens faster than the speed of light. It's neurological. It's embedded in my nervous system. And you could talk choice all you want, but the unconscious mind is running the show.
Lori, you're so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. It's so important, every word that you shared there. And it's breathing. I know we use the word choice, but if you start breathing in mindfulness and you become aware of where your breath is, and you start actively on a regular basis practicing being more breath in your body, if you meditate, or if you consciously go, I'm going to feel my feet, I'm going to feel my calves, my ankles, I'm going to feel different parts of my body as I breathe. If you do that, more of your body comes online and becomes available for you. Naturally, we only have 2 minutes worth of emotion, chemicals that get dumped into our body. So if I am sad for longer than 2 minutes over burnt toast, or not feeding my kids quickly enough, right? Or I'm beating myself up as not a good enough mom. There is an addiction thing in there if it doesn't move in 2 minutes. That the addiction thing comes from the DNA, comes from society, comes from programming. So before I burnt the toast, I've got my feet, my ankles, my body that's practiced in helping me process my breath. So I'm like, oh, I burnt the toast. I'm emotional over this for over 2 minutes. There's something else going on here. And I
Yeah.
start breathing. Then my body comes online and it breathes with me and processes some of the DNA and processes it's the interstitial, the mycelium, the in between spaces, the subtle energy, and it cleanses me. It cleanses my daughter and my son. It cleanses my mom and dad for me to do that breath. And the next time my mom and dad burn toast or my kids burn toast, they have a little bit more energy from my body, from my process in the one soul, in the ocean, in the collective field.
Yeah, but you did say that you did say that it is important to feel the emotions, that that's part of shifting it is connecting with it. And I'm not quite sure a 2 minute limit is enough to allow the processing of what is coming up. And it's like you told me just a short, last week or whatever about, and I've thought about it a handful of times, because if I could arrive there, I would be halfway home or more, not taking things personally, not taking things personally. Well, like when I've been trying since my dad passed to get my mom to come to my house, she's never been to my house. In a lifetime, in a lifetime, anywhere I've ever lived, my mom hasn't been there, okay, since my dad passed. And and that's been fine until my one brother who I don't get along with.
So, Gloria, I want to
He's
stop
taking over, kind of taking over. I just want to give you this example, which is I call over there yesterday, and she's at his house for the weekend. Now I ask you, Dr. Sarah, wouldn't that hurt your feelings? Wouldn't that hurt your feelings? So what do I do? How do I learn not to take it personal? Okay, I have to allow, surrender. It's not mine to take personal. That's what you're saying. It's not mine to take personal. So to get upset or take it personal is like just hurting me, right? Just hurting me.
Hi, I'm so sorry if I cut you off. It was not my intention, but something inside me said you need to. And I was late tonight. It was not my intention. I think you're right where you need to be. So my husband transitioned out of body 4 years ago. He was the first human being in my life who saw my light, loved me, protected me, nurtured me. I had been raised no trust, not wanting to be here. And together we healed. We complemented each other so wonderfully. And the last thing he said to me, he transitioned 3 days later, but with oral squamous, he couldn't speak. So the last thing he said to me was, baby doll, promise me you stay out of story. Promise me you don't go back to blame and self-loathing. And so the way that I see it is it's tantamount to, if I said to you, would you like to be an actress? And to humor me, you answered yes. Then I would say, well, would you like to be an actress who plays the role of victim over and over? Or would you like to be the heroine? Would you like to be the person who instills love and captures the hearts and helps those who this and that? And so then I finally understood what he meant by saying stay out of story. Because when we jump into the story, we don't see the lesson. And so it's not about you. Yes, it hurts. The ego self, I call it the Kimmy G 2080 diet. The way I eat, the way I think, everything is 2080. 20 representing my ego self, 80 representing my spirit self. And every morning I get up and I remind myself, good morning, class is scheduled to begin in 20 minutes. Are you ready to play the ego self? And then I remind myself that I'm a spiritual being having this experience in this vehicle. And so I must cleanse my body. I must get up and I must salute the sun and give gratitude because I'm in the school of life.
I hear you.
So I have a choice.
I hear you. That's why Dr. Sarah tried to stop me, because it is story and I am aware of it. But at the same time, to heal,
Okay. So treat your body as the vehicle that's housing your soul. And so that when you go into it, when my husband transitioned, my ego self pain was immense. So what did I do? I thought, this is the vehicle that's housing your soul. Your soul cannot do the work. We know this. We're cognizant of the fact. So when I cried, when I wailed, I put on the timer on my stove for 20 minutes. And at 20 minutes it went off, and then I hit my tummy like crazy, singing and chanting every single sound of the chakras to make sure that the vehicle that's housing my soul would not let the ego self hijack my mind.
Yeah, I hear you.
And so we have to leave no stone unturned, but you have to remind yourself every morning that when you wake up, we are here to learn. And there are the yin yang, as Dr. Sarah was talking about earlier, of, great love. Well, you have to have compassion because it's a battery. Opposites, they must exist. Just as in the village, you had to have the depressed beings because the two must exist. And it's learning to find the balance on the seesaw so that we don't go bang, bang, mom nice, mom not nice, crazy making. It's not about your mom. Her torment must be immense to have to micro her life and everything, and it's your reaction to it. So
I hear
honor
you. I
yourself.
your
You just
feedback.
have to
I know,
remind
that's
yourself.
part of the shame too. Then I go into crucifying her and putting a knife in.
But that's her biz. No.
I know. I'm just saying
okay.
That's what I do because I'm
okay. So here's a question.
yeah, I'm
We're
either
all in
going to
school.
grow and make new choices, or I'm going to leave. I'm either going to do the work or I'm going to leave. One or the other,
Okay, that's your choice. But I'm offering you one other alternative because we have to go out of the box when crazy magazine comes in the box. So we're all in the school of life. One girl is studying biology, one is studying history, one is studying psychology. Are you going to jump in and get angry because the psychology teacher is teaching you opposite something to the modern dance? No, you stay in your field of interest. So to get sucked into the people who are studying the Dark Ages, Picasso's blue period, we have to send them compassion because you have a choice. You can be the positive side of the electromagnetic and join something so much greater and more powerful, or be sucked. But you must remind yourself every day before you allow this to think. And quite frankly, put up the white flag, give the 5 operating system, hand the key over to the heart brain, and let the heart brain choose when to use this. Because these bad thoughts, I don't know, feed them bananas too, because those are not nice monkeys. Those are the depressed monkeys. So give them twice as many bananas as Dr. Sarah would recommend. Anyway, I didn't mean to go on a rant, but I was on a...
Thank you very much. I appreciate it very much.
Lori, I want to bring this to something really, really specific. I want you to write out, like literally create an image and a story of what you want it to be. And I want you to start practicing living in that story. I want to say that another way. Years ago, I said, I can't imagine my dad coming with me to Agape. And the Rev Michael Beckwith stopped me and said, "Oh my God, if you can't imagine it, he can't get here."
Yeah.
You've got to give specific words to, and then behave as if.
You've got mail.
It's so important to, to step into that beautiful way of getting the information downloaded into your system. Your heart is projecting out. She shows up for me the way that I need her to show up for me. My husband shows up for me. Every one of you guys, beloved miracle makers, show up the way that's required for the next self-organizing process, vision that I've been comfortably in my subtle energy holding in my mind's eye. Every day, a new opportunity based on the cosmos comes up for me to see my own subtle energy and my own shadow and my own light.
Yeah.
And the quicker I get and understand that the vision in the future may change and shift, but for me to really allow that light, that beacon, to be the guiding force of where I end up. So I had to imagine my dad at Agape. I imagined every one of my family members. And do you know The Secret came out, right? The movie The Secret came out, and I went and gave my dad the movie The Secret. And then at some point, it was amazing, just so beautiful. My parents went on a different visit. His wife, Reverend Ricky Byers Beckwith, right, attended my classes, and so my parents got to see me through that lens, the lens of The Secret, the lens of that. I had to imagine my parents there, right?
And that's being a powerful manifester, right?
Right. Carl Sagan said, if you want to make apple pie, you must first invent the universe. So if you want to make a new story in all your lifetimes with your mom, with your dad, with your brother and sister, brothers, they might come back as sisters in next lifetimes, right? If you want to make a new story, you got to start with the universe. Universe. You on the inside, what's the verse you're going to chant? And that verse being, oh my gosh, I choose me, was mine, right? I went through the same processes. I choose me. So as I kept constantly choosing me, I stopped comparing myself and looking at whether others were choosing or not. I choose me.
Yeah, I get that's part of the lesson.
Good.
You know,
Thank you.
I was reading this heart math book today called Science of the Heart. And one of the interesting things that you said was that these emotions come up and they move faster than light speed. And actually, that's trackable now. It's not even like a euphemism. Mm-hmm. It's something, they call it the pulse, the heart pulse. So your heart's got all these neurons. It can send information up the vagus nerve. It could trigger emotions to be made, but it can also create this pulse they call it. And there it is. It's like quantumly entangled, every cell all of a sudden feeling this emotion. And in that practice, we talked about the heart-centered breathing. The other real key moment that they talk about, because that's why we train being in our heart. That's why we put attention towards that even when times are good, so that we have that as a go-to. And in their research, they also found that if you just sit and meditate and want to go to no mind or want to go to the peace place, okay, that's fine. That's a good meditation. But if you actually generate a supportive feeling and being love to yourself, being love to other people, be gratitude, just even if you're finding that thing of like the miracle that I'm breathing right here in this moment, any little thing that you can be grateful for, any way that you can have that appreciation for yourself and the miracle of creation, the more we do that in life, then when these things happen and the pulse hits, your body knowledge is already trained.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of defuse those triggers.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're so welcome, Lori. Thank you for sharing, and so important. CK, thank you. That was so beautiful. Thank you, thank you, Lori. Thank you. It's again, it's so important. No one else can do the work for us. No one else can do it for us. Thank you so much, beloved. Anything coming up for you, really quickly? I know you jump on a lot. I'm so glad that you're here. We're so glad that you're here. What's coming up?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, well, it was so funny. I was so, after my practice, my Sunday Ashtanga practice, I usually come home and I'm quiet. I'll work in my garden. And I was so looking forward to the 6 o'clock meeting. And when I realized I was late, instead of berating myself, I laughed and I said, you're jumping on right where you're meant to, So it was all quite befitting. I don't know. I've just been feeling tremendous love around me for the past little while. So, and then I realized when I was in the garden today, suddenly anger came into me and I was like, oh, this isn't mine. And then I reminded myself, oh my gosh, this is the end of the Miwok trail. Yeah. So it was having compassion for other souls that are around me, other energy that what happened to their home, they were so, attached to. So I did my little ceremony out there, apologizing and sending love and, this, that, and the other. So I don't know what's coming. I'm just feeling in a very blissful state.
Beautiful.
Nothing's changed. Nothing's, it's just.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And it's so, you really amplify the point so beautifully. You amplify that it's so important for us to know which emotions are ours and which are not. And it's so important to build that self-trust and that self-love and that self-knowing in that way, so it can really come in so powerfully, and that you can do the process and the work that's been handed to you. Beloved energy, universe, oneness brought it to you. Thank you so much, love. Yay, yay. Danny Brave, I see that you're here and you've been jumping on and off. Do you want to be recorded? I'm muted. Is it okay to record?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so glad to be here.
What's coming up for you? What stood out? What can we share? What can we co-create?
Thanks for asking that. I'm feeling a little bit of shock that you called on me. I think I wasn't expecting, part of me wasn't expecting to be participating. So let me see. Yeah, I'm feeling, I'm in a really, my life has been intensely transforming for like 4 years. I went through a big awakening in 2015 and spiritual awakening, and also remembrance of really intense childhood trauma started at that point. And I don't know, what comes to mind is I was supposed to, I had chosen to move to the West Coast, and then someone who was / is a teacher, who I was also going to be my roommate, had a difficult conversation with them that made me realize that I didn't feel safe or cared for living with them. And now I am staying. Chose to stay on the East Coast, and I don't really know like what's going on. It's like so unexpected. I chose to not go a week in advance, and I'm staying with really amazing loved ones. I do healing sessions with people, but I also been working through like a lot of shame with putting myself out there. And so ironically, I've not put myself out there to the extent that I want to, because I'm so focused on my own healing work. And so I don't have a lot of money. I'm just in this totally unknown
space. Danny, you know, what comes in so beautifully in your field,
doing my best to trust that it's working out. Like most of me knows that it's all working out.
Do you want some feedback on what your energy field is saying? It's
hang on, I'm like not able to, the internet's not. 1 second. Let me see. Okay, try talking now.
Okay, let's see if this works so beautifully. It's the universe is saying that you were leaving things rather than moving towards your dreams. You were running away from, and there was isolation, sensations happening where you were. So you were running from the isolation, and this ability to stay where you are organized itself to give you more of what was always available to you. And right now, you're really learning to trust the inner voice that tells you to deliver and help people the way that you help them. And it's been a slow progression of an upgrade every time you do it. And so the universe is saying, your body is saying, offer them and allow yourself, whatever gets spoken, to come forward. Let the feedback come, and let there be not an attached finance exchange with it necessarily. To let yourself do it, and you could say it's donation based, or you can help me master the internet, or you can help me list a skill set that could be exchanged afterwards or before. But your soul is asking to do more of this work.
Can you go back? My reception was not good, and I think I'm in a good spot now. So would you mind repeating? There was something about isolation and running.
We're running from where you are. You had isolated yourself, and you expanded out, thinking the isolation would be over if you went somewhere else.
Right. But it's something that I'm doing inside of myself, almost. Correct. Right. Okay.
And so the way out of the isolation and the upgrade in your life, the up-leveling, comes from offering what you're doing for an exchange, for a donation, just asking people around you to really say, let's exchange something together. I don't know what you can help me with, but I know what I can do for you. And you list out the benefits of what you do for them.
Got it. Beautiful.
I'm so glad you're here. So glad you're here. We have another one of these on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. And then we'll do another one on Thursday at noon Pacific. East Coast time, 6 p.m. I believe is 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And the times are changing. I'm trying to keep them a little bit staggered. So 5:30. So I have just a little bit more time to get home and run from the office, do all of that stuff. So Wednesday, I believe it's 5:30, and Thursday it's at noon this week. So we look forward to seeing you then, love.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Thank you so much. Yay. Natalie, love, I know you've been here. Hi, lovey.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. you know what? I got a diploma on the wall. Look at that.
I saw that in your video. I was so proud of you for posting that. That's awesome.
Natalie has been we've been together since like, oh my gosh, so long. And so it's lovely. I love seeing you, love.
Likewise.
Yay. What's coming up for you?
Well, I'm still in the midst of cleaning my space on day 12 of my cleanse / fast. And I'm so grateful after talking to you, because I do feel like if I do through the 13th, that's only 2 more days after today. It's super easy.
Yeah.
And, the bigger part is getting through my space, which has been such a thorn in my side. But I really feel like I'm approaching it from a different angle. The thing that's tripping me up a little bit, maybe you can help me with this, is like papers and stuff. I pull them out and I mean to go through them, and I'm trying to figure out like a good way, a system of organizing.
So this is my thing with paper. Try and touch paper only once.
Yeah, that's been the opposite of what I do. I move it from one pile to the other. I'm like, I don't know what to do with it, so I'm going to set it here.
It makes you make a decision.
Okay.
If you have to like keep it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take a picture of it. You email it to yourself.
Okay.
And you label the email with what it is. You take a picture on your camera. You make sure it's a clear picture. You can read it. You email it to yourself. And you rip up the paper and you toss it.
Got it.
You try and touch paper only once. You and I, everyone has got to get something down with our pictures and with our papers, right?
Yes.
Your goal is to only touch them once. So social security cards, passports, dollar bills, paper, right? You want to hold on to that, put that in locations. Everything else, with the exception of a few things, you can take a picture of, email it to yourself. It will stay in Google Docs or whatever cloud system you have for you.
Okay.
And it takes a little bit more time initially, but literally you start creating so much time for you. Diplomas, I personally keep cards because I still read the ones that I got in grade school, right? I have a box of treasures that I love, and love notes, little notes that I wrote to my sister and to my brother. I was able to give notes to my dad that he had written us from when we were kids. I made photocopies and I gave a copy to, so I held on to those. For some reason, those are sentimental. They
make me feel good.
Right. And so those I didn't take a picture of and tear up and toss, but things like I had held on to magazine articles that Greg or myself were featured in. I just took a picture. I didn't keep the whole magazine. And I understand papers, right? I love books and I understand papers. We're now shifting to where take a picture, email it to yourself, make sure it's a clean copy, and it's going to help you in the long run. You can search for it in your own Google Docs or your own cloud if you label it beautifully.
Or my email, yeah. The other thing that's coming up is my solar plexus, just kind of out of the blue, will sometimes start feeling like sharp irritation.
And so it's interesting because you've got such a strong willpower, right? Your solar plexus, when you want to, you've got such a strong, and so to really see those sharp pains as time to get up and move.
Well, I've not stopped moving really because I'm doing my space while I'm cleansing.
Right. And so, so you're saying right now there's sharp pains coming up.
It's not super sharp, but like I'll be working in my space and it's all of a sudden it'll start irritating me out of the blue, my solar plexus. So I'm not sure if it's related to going through my papers or going through my space and cleansing my space.
So I would say this is what your body is telling me, that you're unhooking meaning to stuff. You are free willing, letting go of the meaning that you put on to things. And then the other thing that I really is your gut or your intuition is communicating with you around this.
Around clearing out my space?
Around clearing out your space.
Okay.
So, overall, like the sharp pains, and they come out when you're not clearing up your space. Is that true?
It is.
They do. They show up when you're not clearing it up. Right now, your body is remaking its walls, remaking its lining. It's letting go of a lot of attachment. And so you're going from here in a lot of ways to up here, and to consider them growing pains.
Okay.
And I want to say that another way. Of course, you haven't eaten in 12 days. You're going to feel sharp pains as well.
Well, it's not hunger though. It feels more like my solar plexus. Do you know what I mean?
Right. So the diaphragm, which is right there, the apparatus that breathes, gets more range of movement when we fast and when we cleanse ourselves. And so it's opening those channels back up so that you have a higher level of intuitive guidance coming from your body. I also love when you're fasting to make sure that you've got the teas, warm water, things that move your bowel frequently. So warm water that moves your bowels. Sienna tea moves your bowels. And it lets sort of the walls cleanse during the fast. And so I would recommend that for the last 2 days, right?
Lots of warm teas. I have a smooth move tea I can make as well.
Definitely make the smooth move teas. And so the thicker, grimier stuff in the gut is being yanked from the walls out.
Yay! All the old shit that I don't want anymore. Get out! I'm so ready.
So beautiful.
Okay. Thank you so much, and thank you for your support. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Love you so much. Oh, sorry. There, I unmuted you again. So we're ready to receive. We're receiving your words.
Me?
Anything you want to share, love, because I muted you too fast.
Oh, I was just saying thank you. I love you, and I'm just grateful, and it's such a joy to see both of you, and the laughter, like even during the first part of the call. I really feel the lightness. It's beautiful.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. We received that. Yay.
Love you.
Love you. Yay. I think we're able to take one more, and let's see. There's a 310 number. 310. I unmute you if you want to say anything. 39 are your last 2 digits. If you don't say anything, we'll mute you again, and we'll go to someone else. 310, last 2 digits, 39. Okay, we are going to go to Erin. Erin, love. Hi. Hi, love.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. I'm so glad you caught this. Is there anything you want to talk about or share here?
Not that I can think of, really, exactly. I have a lot like going on in my mind, so whatever you'd like to tell me would be awesome.
It's really interesting because I think you feel sympathetic pains as well, right? You're feeling sympathetic in your body. I want to say that another way, that your body's in a little bit of fight and flight, and that you're feeling it for someone else right now. And so I would really recommend that you go for a little bit of a walk or a little bit of a journey. Go walking a little bit, even if it's within your own home. There is your nervous system it will help you process what you need to process with your whole body. Did that make sense?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's great intelligence that's inside your body that wants to partner with you right now in the challenge that you're going through. And so getting up and moving, it will make sure that you're able to see more clearly as well.
Okay.
Okay, I love you. Yay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording here and we're going to do, we will summarize